Thank you, thank you,
I
thank
was
you.
trying to get the attendance down.
Okay. I want to welcome everybody to our, should I call it, Rick, our delayed Granbury meeting?
Yeah, this is a rain check meeting. Yeah.
It's a rain check meeting, right. I don't know which ones of you were successful last week in getting in, but I know at least Bob Coleman and myself were totally unsuccessful. And finally, after several tries, I got blocked out. Couldn't try anymore.
I'll take responsibility for that. I had increased the security on the site because of the problem we had with the expo meeting. And it was a little too much security, I guess.
Well,
hopefully this one works out. Okay.
Well, I don't know if it canceled out people like Dave. Maybe you had the right security after all.
That's true.
Dicey characters like that, you know.
Okay. Well, let's go to show and tell. Gene, since you're keeping notes, why don't we let you start? You can show us, tell us what you've got, and then we'll go to the rest.
All right, let's see if I get this up here in front of the camera. See if you can see this. I'm continuing my my hinge collection, and this is an antique hinge box from Stanley Gibbons.
Oh, wow.
2,000 medium-sized hinges in a really nice Stanley Gibbons tin. So I'm up over 120 different commercial packages of hinges, and I dare anybody else in the world to match that.
Wow.
Well, just please do not become unhinged.
Yeah, I know why we had that security set up so high.
Yeah, there you go.
Looks like we have
stuck on this topic.
Christine
Hello, Christine
Mays that has joined us. Christine, welcome.
She's a new member.
Okay, good to have you, Christine. What we're doing right now is show and tell, and I'm working my way around the room. Bob Coleman, have you got anything for show and tell? You're on mute, Bob.
Am I on?
You're
There,
on.
There you go.
Whoops, you went off. There. Stay there.
Am I on it?
You're good.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, well, it says mute on mine, but anyway.
Christine.
After all said and done, no, I don't have anything. It took me long enough to get into this thing. So
Thank you, Bob. Good to have you. Ken Aldridge, anything for show and tell?
Yes. You can see this. These are from Denmark. And my daughter-in-law is from Denmark. And her mother sends her packages, and they put some of these are actually like Christmas seals or semi-postals or postal tax stamps. They come in large sizes like these, and they come in smaller. This is a sheet of 10. And they're plastered all over the packages. And of course it's in Danish, so I can't read it, but I asked my daughter-in-law what they're all about. And they are for special children's schools. And she said specifically for underprivileged and overweight, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So it's sort of almost like a postal or semi-postal that goes to help fund these schools for kids. And you know, I assumed they were sold by the post office, but I really didn't know where else they'd be sold. But there's no amounts on them. Just holiday pictures. And says Jewel 2019. I got 2018, 2017, 2020. So I've got quite a few of them. So that's my show and tell.
Wouldn't they be classified as a Cinderella?
Well, I don't know. I mean, people buy them, and the money goes to. So it's almost like a postal tax type stamp.
Is that like a Christmas seal or something like that?
Or
Well,
yeah,
see,
well,
Christmas seals are
or the,
considered
like,
Cinderellas.
the old tuberculosis stamps you could buy. So yeah, I don't know. It's really kind of an odd thing, but they're very colorful and
It's a rare view on you.
Well, that would
Okay.
be a good segue into our presentation
Good.
tonight.
Well, Skip, you got a show and tell?
Well, sorta. I've been working on, let me see if I can get this where it's in the light. Well, it's of no consequence there. I was working on putting together a starter set of US stamps, and I had gotten to the Washington and Franklin's. And I came up with a 50-cent Franklin. And according to the Scott catalog, there are 5 varieties of that stamp. 2 of them are P12s, Perf 12s, double line watermark and single line watermark. There are 2 Perf 10s, single line watermark and unwatermarked. And there's only 1 Perf 11, and it's unwatermarked. And this I was measuring on the sides is Perf 11. Now, there is a thing in the catalog that says that there are a few, very few, because the catalog value is something like $17,000 that are Perf 10 at top and bottom. So after I checked the sides, I nominally checked the top and the bottom. And the bottom was Perf 11, but the top is Perf 12. Now I've measured this about 10 times, and I'm using the Wilins multi gauge perf thing. So I mean, I'm not mistaken, and it's I can't see a watermark, so it's not one of the other Perf 12s, and I just don't know what to make of it. It appears to have on the teeth on the top where the Perf 12 is a little bit. You can see a little bit of a hint of the of what was a line above, in suggesting to me there was a stamp above that. But I guess maybe it could be part of the frame line that went around, and it was originally a straight edge and somebody, Perf 12'd it. But it's just a kind of a strange deal to come across something that's not listed in the catalog, and I'm pretty certain I've got it measured correctly.
Okay.
Sometimes those single line watermarks are very hard to detect, though.
Right, but there's the single line watermarks are either Perf 12 or Perf 10, and this is Perf 11 on the other 3 sides. So it's
I send that in for expertization.
Well, yeah, except that's what, $50, $60, $75, but it's probably some kind of fake.
Well,
Do you have the U.S. Do you have the U.S. specialized?
Yeah,
The
yeah, I'm
Scott
looking
specialized.
yes,
It doesn't have anything.
Doesn't have anything about that. So very strange.
okay, I'm not sure I've ever seen one where the perforations on just one side was different than the other 3. Okay, Fred, anything for show and tell?
I don't have anything.
All right, Ralph, do you have anything for show and tell?
No, one of these days I'll have my act together, but not tonight.
Okay, all right. Well, it looks like you're out on the moon or someplace.
Face station.
All right. Joe McFarland, welcome. You're going to show us your cat, or have you got something else?
Well, the cat left again, so I don't have anything this time.
All right. Judy, do you have anything for show and tell?
Nope.
Hey, Bird.
Hey, John.
Hey.
Okay. John, we're doing show and tell, and we're up to Stanley Christmas. Stanley, anything for show and tell?
Not really.
Christine, you're on mute, but do you have anything for show and tell today to just talk to us?
I don't have anything for show and tell. I'm just kind of figuring out what's going on.
Okay. Well,
You're doing
Christine,
great.
do you mind taking a minute or two to tell us about yourself and your collection and what it is you collect so we have some understanding of what your interests are?
I can give you a brevity, yes. A brevity of what I collect.
Please do.
I basically collect stamps that are new coming out. I've gotten stamps commemorating special occasions, such as, gosh, what is that guy's name? Cesar Chavez. I've got his stamp collection, and some other stamp collections. So it's just kind of mixed what I have.
Christine, do you focus on one country or are you worldwide? Or
it just depends on what's available.
Okay. All right. We've got some others that have broad interests that, you know, it's hard to pin them down. They don't say a specific country. They don't say a specific type. Used or mint doesn't seem to make much difference. But welcome to the club. Glad to have you.
Glad to be here.
Glad you could join us. John, good to see you again. How you doing? And tell us, you got anything for show and tell?
Well, not anything other than to follow up on some of the emails that you've shared with me. I just moved over from the New Haven Philatelic Society Zoom meeting. And I have to tell you fellas that you and the New Haven Club are really leading the way on the Zoom platform and the interaction of the group, revitalizing our hobby. And that coupled with Rick's request about a brochure or a booklet that came out from one of our members here in Connecticut, that we're using as a potential generator of interest in the club and everything. So if any more ideas come up, I think most of y'all can, and that's the other thing, y'all are way ahead of most of the groups with the sharing of information. I just got my most recent member directory with interest and all that sort of thing. My contact information is all in there correct. And I am still actively using all of my collections to chronicle our family's experiences going back to the late 1700s. And if there's any interest in that booklet of Wildman, just let me know, because we're really interested in seeing if we can get a really good price for that thing for you guys if you decide to go with it in November.
Yeah, I've been working with John on that, and we're trying to get a good price on those coloring books for the beginners section at the expo. So I think John said he might be able to get the price down to $5 or $6 a copy. So we're hoping we can have some of those to help promote stamp collecting among the younger people.
Not only that, Rick, I can tell you tonight that because there's some parallel interest in that concept, that I think as a test, I can go with Carl at our expense to bring down 15 copies of the booklet, so that if you all wanted to maybe at one of your regional meetings or something hand it out to see if it was favorable, I could send you 5 or 10 copies just as a test run and everything. So if anybody wants to see the book, several of our members here in New Haven, of course, have already seen it and they know it. But if any of y'all would be interested, Carl and I are thinking of bringing down 15 copies that I could easily send a copy to you guys just to see how it's structured and everything.
That would be great, John. We actually have a couple of copies that you've sent to us already. And we haven't had an expo meeting. I think that we've got one scheduled for the next month. When we have the expo meeting, I'll pass the ones that we have around. You don't really have to send all those things down here right now. But if you want to, it'll be fine. We'll accept them happily.
That's great, because we're particularly interested in the club members, particularly those of you with grandchildren, to see if they are still at their grandchildren age captivated by the hidden object and the coloring aspect of the presentation. You have to remember, we did this book 10 or 15 years ago, and people's interests have changed and everything, but would really be curious to see, have you express it to a couple of grandchildren to see if they still are interested in the coloring aspect and the hidden object aspect.
Yeah. We'll let you know on that, John. I appreciate it.
No
Thank you very much. Thank you, John. We need to give Skip the credit for the directory that you referenced that you just got and how good it is. So Skip, here's a hand to you.
Yeah.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
I don't know, Christine, whether you've got the new directory yet. We just issued a new directory, and as a new member, I'm sure Skip is catching up with things.
I think I'll have it.
Rick, do you have anything for show and tell?
Yeah, I was out the other day at Half Price Books. I don't know if you guys go to Half Price Books or not, but let me get rid of this background I got here so you can see this book. Okay, and it's a book on the British Post Office. It's an older book, and it's pretty hefty. They had a price on this thing at Half Price Books of $50. It's one of their higher priced books, I guess. So I've always been a guy looking around for bargains. So I went over to the manager and I said, "Hey, look, man, this is way too much money for this book." And he says, "Well, let me take a look at that." And he says, "Yeah," he says, "I can knock something off of that." He says, "How about $20?" I said, "That'd be sweet." So I got a deal of $30 off on a $50 book. I thought that was a pretty good price on it. So
yes,
great.
It never hurts to ask, you know.
It does not.
It doesn't cost you anything to ask. So, and that's about it for me, I guess. I got a whole bunch of number 5.99 2-cent Washington Reds that I've been going through and putting them in my archive collection. And I had a shoebox that was full of 720s, 5.99s, 1-cent Franklins. And I think it was 1-cent Franklins, 2-cent Washingtons, and 3-cent Washingtons. I've been sorting through those and trying to separate them out and put them in Vario sheets for protection. But man, it's a chore. I'm sorting them by illustration number to start with, and then getting into the categorizing them later on. You know, 5.99s, 5.99A, and all of that. So it's a chore, especially when you got thousands of stamps involved. That's about it for me.
Okay, thank you, Rick. I'll do my show and tell. I've got a postal card that I found interesting. It was sent in 1904. It's a McKinley postal card. McKinley died in 1901. I believe he was one of our presidents that was shot. And this postal card came out in 1902. This was sent on an RPO, a railroad, the Rutland and something, I can't read the rest of it. But one of the interesting things is that it was the day of the penny postcard, and there's a 1-cent postage due on this postcard.
Where was it mailed from?
It was mailed from, it says the postmark does not have a place telling where it was. It's got the railroad.
Oh, okay. If it came from Canada, that would be correct, though.
No, there's no evidence that it came from Canada.
Okay.
However, looking at it closely on the back side, you'll notice they wrote a note, but they also glued a cartoon on it.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder, it made me wonder if because they glued a cartoon to the postcard that it made it the 2-cent rate, postage rate, rather than the 1-cent postal card rate.
I believe that's right, Dave.
That's the only thing I could surmise, but I've never had a postcard which somebody glued something to like this. And, you know, it was the postage due thing that caught my attention and brought me to it. And then I realized it was an RPO. And right after McKinley's death, having been shot.
Let me interject one thing, because Rutland, we would really be lucky, and this is one of the reasons I'm delighted to have a chance to be a member of your club. What is the RPO or the railroad that is referenced there?
It's Rutland, and all I can read is TR. It could be a U or an O.
Okay, because Rutland is a significant city in Vermont. And one of our former employees, this is how the interaction with you guys in Zoom, several of our former employees are from Rutland, and one I talk to regularly. So give me the best you can read on the railroad again.
Rutland and TR, and it's either an O or a U.
And what's the date of the?
September 15th, 1904. And then under that, it's got TR, I think it's 85, and then RPO on the bottom of the circle.
The TR is, of course, the train number, but this is fantastic because this is the wave of the future for our hobby. There's no more benefit from being in the national associations. They are not 21st century, but this kind of interaction with you fellas is unbelievable. I have a good friend, Rutland is up in the area around Orvis, and we buy a lot from Orvis and everything, but I will contact him tomorrow, and I will also get into my RPOs and find out if I can identify that railroad. But that's great. And
John, I will scan it and email it to you.
That's the other advantage of you guys being so interactive with the directory. And again, I give Skip full credit for the directory. Skip, you cannot believe the reluctance of the National Association going back 20 years to share any member information or interest with a call-in. And that's why I have taken to joining state clubs in all of the states that I'm interested in. But basically, that would be fantastic. Send me that, and I'll have it in the hands of the fellow tomorrow. He's right there in Rutland, and he might be able to really give us a lead on how that type of a card came to be.
Okay, thank you, John.
Well, let me say that I just inherited the handbook, and much of the format that it's in, I inherited it from Judy Christmas. So I've only edited the thing. I didn't initiate all of that. I've just sort of added and deleted info.
I didn't initiate it either. I inherited it from Art Van Ryan. And
well, basically, you guys get a lot of credit because I can tell you, as you know, I'm chronicling my family from Grapevine. And basically, the fact that you all have such a well-structured and organized handbook makes it so easy for me to take all my philatelic items going back to the late 1800s and put them right in together with the papers and everything. And Judy, if you guys, you and Skip organize the structure of this thing, it works perfectly.
Wonderful. We're glad to hear that.
Can I interject something here?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Anyway, Vicki and I, of course, we like to go to the antique places, but if you're interested in paper stuff, and I found a lot of good old postmarks, and some, of course, I collect the USS ships. I found some of that. But over in Azle, off 199, there's a guy that runs that. He's from Maine. He goes to Maine twice a year, and he picks Maine for all the different things he can pick there, brings them to Texas, sells them here, takes Texas stuff to Maine. I mean, and does it there. But there he has a lot of, I mean, everything, old railroad stuff, old stamp stuff. He has boxes of, you know, first day issues, which aren't worth a whole lot, but he does have a lot of interesting stuff. But it's,
you send us the person's name and address so that we could find it?
Let me see if I can find out from my wife. It's only open on Saturdays, and that's the only thing. And it's a place right on 99. It's called Sanctuary. And there's 2 antique places, but he goes twice a year to Maine, brings stuff back. His whole place is either cash or check. But let me see if I can find out from my wife what the exact name of it is. But if you're interested in old books, old papers, anything paper-wise, plus he has all the other stuff too. But it's been a good find for me to look up a lot of things.
Bob, I will tell you on a side to that, our youngest graduated from the University of Maine at Orono. So just to show you how you can interact with people from this kind of thing, just tell him that you have a club member whose youngest graduated from the University of Maine at Orono. Okay. And that will give you a tie in there. And he might put me onto some things because she took her undergraduate in business at the University of Maine. In fact, oh no, Bob, you'll, as a historian, you'll know, we saw at her graduation Tor Heyerdahl in one of his last speaking appearances and everything. So your guy will definitely know that you have somebody in your club that's tied in with Maine. He comes up here twice a year.
Yes, I think he comes to Texas, you know, when it's winter up there, and vice versa. But anyway, let me see if I can get a name for you guys. If you ever want to go out there, it makes a nice little day trip.
Thank you.
But I'll try to get the information to you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate that. Moving on, Ralph, can we ask for an update related to the expo preparation?
Before you get started, I'm getting ready to go work out because I'm scheduled to do that. I do it every day.
Okay. Well, thanks for showing up, Christine.
Okay, Christine.
Thanks, Christine. Good to see you.
Your name's
Hope to meet you soon.
Your name's on the list for the drawing.
Whenever they open up the building.
Yes.
Thanks, Christine.
Wait. See you later.
Okay. All right. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We have an expo meeting that's going to be coming up in the month of April. And we have our agreement in place with the Convention Center. I just received notice that our storage facility has gone up a few bucks a month. So
how much is it a month now?
I don't have it in front of me, but it's only a few dollars more than it was before.
Okay. Okay.
It's their first price increase in over 5 years. So.
Okay.
And the theme is Western, so I expect to see some Western hats and cowboy boots.
That's right.
Is it Western wear or just Western?
Well, it's Western wear / cowboys.
Okay.
So.
And Ken?
Yeah.
Ken, I did check with the Convention Center, and they will provide security as they have in the past.
Great.
I sent off an email to Scott English to try to find out about the possibility of holding a first day of issue ceremony at our expo.
That'd be awesome. We haven't held one of those in a long time.
I thought that would be pretty cool if we could get it, but I haven't heard back from Scott. So I don't know what's going on with that. So I was just trying to find out who to contact at the USPS, and I figured Scott would have more connections than I would. So. We'll see.
Oh.
Just a thought.
Okay, Ralph. Anything else, Ralph?
Not the moment, no.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate you joining us today, and appreciate the update. Not all of us attend the Expo planning meetings. Moving down my list of things here, Jim Case has asked me to remind you that the Granbury Group puts together a mystery box for the silent auction at the Expo, and if you have items you'd like to donate to that mystery box, he'd appreciate it. They can be sent or conveyed to him somehow, but that's Jim Case is the fella that's putting that together for us now. In the past, our group has always relied upon Aline Franklin, who's moved from the area and not able to do that anymore, and always put together one of the most interesting and sought after mystery boxes, usually filling a box that was at least this size, the size of a case of beer. I think she used a beer box more than once, and with the attractive labels on it, and always a highly thought after. And I know a couple of our club members just love to delve into the things that we've found, and I know Jim Case will keep that up and try to match what Aline's done.
You got to beat Ben Termini though to get to beat him to the box.
Yep, he'll keep bidding on it. He seems to have deep pockets. And speaking of Ben Termini, earlier this month I got a notice from Ben Termini, one of our club members, that he had a special deal for members, and that was he is offering free packets of stamps if you'll send him a self-addressed envelope and stamped envelope. He'll send a packet of stamps back to you free of charge. He's trying to eliminate many of his duplicates that he's got and clean out his closet. And you can find Ben Termini's address in the directory. So if you're interested in receiving what would be a surprise gift of stamps from Ben, send him a stamped envelope with your address on it. I suggest you use the 2-ounce rate, and that way you can put even more in it. Let's see, the 2-ounce rate now is 75 cents.
The ball next to it.
So just a suggestion. Yeah. But it's open to all club members. Welcome to send it to them. Okay, any other announcements that we have?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Did you get that? I tried to put it on there for that Main and Barn thing. That's 1951 Northwest Parkway, Azle, Texas, and that's right on there on 199. So
you guys are way ahead of most of the groups. I've already Googled it. I pulled it up on my cell phone right here beside me in Azle, Texas, and I can tell you I'll send that fella an email tomorrow.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. Are there any other business? We do.
Dave, is there any progress? Is there any progress on the in-person meetings in the summer?
I have contacted Bentwater, where we hold the Lake Granbury meetings, to try to reserve their activity center. am in the process of waiting response, but I have told them that I plan to start in-person meetings in June, which is 2 more months of our Zoom meetings, do the April and May via Zoom. And then we will use whatever guidelines that are in place by the Center for Disease Control or locally, which I've talked to members already about spacing our tables out, but our room is large enough where we can accommodate easily 12 to 15 or so people at good spacing and hold in-person meetings. I'm actually thinking about holding an auction in probably September. I think it'll take until September for us to get things together that members want to sell, and then we'll publicize that and issue the list of what's available in the auction. You can bid in the auction either in live person, or we will accept bids from folks remotely via communications with me so that I can get their bids recorded. Starting at their minimums, we will have minimum bids, but working up from there. So that's worked in the past and been successful in getting things for folks who were not able to attend.
Just a question, Dave. Do they have Wi-Fi available down there?
Sometimes, and it's unreliable is the problem.
Okay.
But it may be, you know, it's been a couple years now since I've used it or tried using it, and it may be better now than it was.
Okay.
But
I was just curious that we might be able to do a Zoom from there on location.
Being that the location was right down at lake level in a hollow, you can call it, because it's the lowest place around, they had difficulty in maintaining reception, I know, in the past at times, but that may have improved.
Okay, we can check it out. You know.
We can check it out, that's right. We'll have some time. So we may even be able to have our auction on Zoom, yeah. which you could call it. So John, you could bid on things there remotely.
Then you guys are right there with the New Haven guy. In fact, I think at least Rick knows, we lost our major leader, Mike Frechette, about 3 months ago to COVID. But he had brought all of the New Haven group 100% into the 21st century. So whenever they had their meetings, they had Zoom participants. So we even had 3 or 4 people from Florida come in that had done their time in Connecticut and retired down in Florida. But you guys are following exactly that pathway. It works perfectly. And I just wish Mike was here to show you guys, because what you're talking about, Mike had going a year ago. And basically it works absolutely perfectly. They give you a very low rate. You hit one button and brings everybody in. And in fact, I just switched over to you guys from their meetings tonight. And you just keep up the good work, because it's easy to do, no problems at all. But I just wish you had Mike. I just wish you had Mike here. It's like I tell Rick, I wish you had Mike, Cliff Gilman, and George Wildman here to interact like we're doing tonight, because boy, I'll tell you, it would be fantastic.
Well, you can extend an invitation to them next time.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know.
They'd be. In fact, tonight they were having trouble with their feeds. I was actually going to have you fellas on my iPad and have them on the computer and interact between the two, because we were going to do that to see. Because I also have a group in South Carolina and another group in Florida that is interested to see how y'all are progressing. So y'all are doing very, very good.
Glad you weren't here last week.
With a little, you know, with a little luck, can you imagine the Lake Granbury branch becoming a national organization. Great hopes from Little Acorns Grove.
Absolutely.
Let's really give the credit to the mid-cities. I don't consider it just the Lake Granbury group. This is just a third of our operation. And
well, that was the one thing Mike Frechette recognized early on, that he had so many of the group here in New Haven that were spending at least 3 months down in the warmer climates, that if he adopted the Zoom platform, even when he had a in-person meeting, this is before the crisis and everything, that basically his Florida and his South Carolina and Myrtle Beach guys could participate right through the winter and everything, and it worked perfectly.
Well,
I don't know about keeping you Yankee snowbirds in line there. In touch with all your stuff back home.
Yeah,
Rick, I tell you, it's like this. My South Carolinian friends, as I do these chronicles, they tell me that if I've been out of Texas or South Carolina for more than a year, I'm not a member of the group anymore. I said, that's being a little bit hard on a guy.
All right. Well, we do have a program today. Rick has been kind enough to share with us a list of programs that he had. And one of them is I asked for input as to what members had an interest in, and got very little response, but those I did get response from. One of the items that was identified or programs is, what are Cinderella labels? So Rick, you want to, as your lead in, I'll turn it over to you.
Actually, they're just stickers.
Yeah, well, sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Sometimes Cinderellas are pretty impressive, especially some that were made for the stamp shows, international stamp shows, things like that. Some of them were really nice looking. I'm going to turn off the recording of the meeting.